Hey everyone, this is Will from SRT Amplification. In this video, we're going to be looking at a Heathkit capacitor tester. It's the model CT-1. I believe it was made in the late 60s, early 70s era. I have actually opened it up in the back just to make sure that there's no gross misconnections or anything. And I've got it brought up here on the Variac. I don't know if you can see this. I think I got it about 110 volts on the Variac, 111 volts. And I just plugged it in. I brought it up slowly, and it's actually on AC off right now on the dial position here. But so far, nothing. Looks like we're drawing about, what, 0.01 amps, 10 milliamps or less. So it's looking good so far. I don't even know if this tube works. This magic eye tube here, I don't know if it works. I downloaded the manual for this. It's very interesting the way this thing works. It actually has an oscillator that produces a high frequency to test the caps with. We're going to test the cap here today. Basically, all you're testing for on this is whether it's grossly open or grossly shorted. There is an indicator right here that it may show intermittent problems, but we'll have to see what that looks like, if it works at all. I don't know. I don't know if any of this works really. So we'll see together. So like I said, right now it's on AC off, and I'm just hoping this tube works. So let's put this thing to the test and see what happens. So according to the manual, you're supposed to put it in one of the two check positions, whether you're going to test for shorts or opens, and then the magic eye tube should appear as the diagram. So it should be the eye should be open here in the test position, and then when you in the check position, and then when you go to test, it will remain open if it's shorted. It will actually close if it's okay. And when you're testing for opens, the eye should be closed, and if it is an actual open circuit, which we can test this without the capacitor, which we'll do here in a moment. And if it closes, then the capacitor is okay. So the way this magic eye tube is working here, it's actually part of the oscillator circuit. It's kind of serving two functions. It's a triode that's part of the oscillator circuit, and it's also got another plate in there that's the target for the electrons. And with the phosphorus, it's basically like a little mini CRT essentially. And the way the deflection and everything is on that plate, it kind of gives you that eye. So you'll see it hopefully when it comes up here. We'll see. Let's do shorts first, and we'll just switch it over to the check position, and maybe give the tube time to warm up. Hey, oh, I'm seeing light. So I don't know how this is coming over on the camera for you guys, but yes. Okay, yeah, it looks good in the camera. Okay, awesome. Okay, so hey, if you get one of these and you flip it over to check, you're gonna have to wait a while. This tube will warm up. Don't automatically dismiss it as something being wrong. The tube lit up. It's good to go. All right. So in this position, in the check position here, it should be reading open, which it is. So that's a good sign. And then if it's shorted, which it shouldn't be because I don't have these terminals shorted, it would remain open. So what we're going to be looking for here, when I flip this to test, we should see the eye close. If everything's working properly, we should see the eye closed. And it did. Okay. So that means there's no short. And we'll actually test this function out to make sure that it does show a short when there is a short here in a moment. Hopefully that works as well. All right, so flip this back over. We'll do check on the open. Okay. So the indication for the open is that the eye should be closed, and it is. So that's good. And then when we go over to, we are open on the terminals. So on our test, it should stay closed. It should not open. So let's try that. Oh, no. It should go open because it is open. Okay, so the eye is going to actually open up. There it is. Yeah. So the eyes, we are under an open. If a good capacitor, it should stay closed. But we are open right here. So we're testing the functionality of this thing right here. This is if we had a bad capacitor that was actually open circuited. Okay, so let's do that again. There we go. So that part's working. Okay, and then the intermittent feature here, obviously, I guess you would have to have some kind of intermittent fault in order to see the eye fluctuating like that. So there's really no way to test that function unless you do have an intermittent fault, I guess. So, but if you see that pattern there where the eye's opening and closing erratically, there may be some kind of intermittent fault. All right, so let's put a capacitor in here and try it with an actual capacitor here. Okay, so I noticed right away, I'll take these terminals off. I noticed right away there's something I don't like about this, and I'm probably gonna have to fix this, tear it apart and fix it. But you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit, and you can see that the posts aren't lined properly with the hole on the top. This one kind of is. This one's over on the side. So you can't just drop your capacitor in there in the holes, which would be nice, right? You just drop them in there. So I may rotate those to where I can do that. But for now, let's just try to get this thing stuck on there and see what it does. So I can actually get it in this one pretty easy, but this one's over here on the side, right? So, okay, let's see here. This is a 4700 picofarad polycap. So let's see what it does. Okay, so we're going to go over and we'll test for shorts first. So let's let the tube warm up. I'm so excited this thing's actually working. It's great. Now this thing's not testing for, you know, ESR, EPR, anything really except for just gross opens and shorts. That's really all it's giving you. It's not going to tell you whether the thing's going to fail tomorrow or nothing like that. Okay, so our tube's warmed up, but it is testing it at frequency. I forget what frequency the oscillator's running at right off the top of my head. It's in the manual, but it is testing the capacitor at frequency, so that's good. I'd like to have, there's another upper version of this that you can test at different frequencies, at different voltages, et cetera, and I think it's a little bit better tester. But let's see what this thing does when we test it. It should, let's see what we're looking for first. So if it's a good capacitor and it's not shorted, the eye should close. Okay, so let's see if it does. It does. Okay. All right, and so we still haven't tested the functionality, the full functionality of this side because we haven't actually shorted that out. So we'll short that out here in a minute. Let's flip it on over to the open test, and you can see on the check we got the eye closed. So in the test, if this is a good capacitor, the eye should remain closed. We shouldn't get an open, hopefully, like we did when we did the open terminal test. Here we go. Okay, it did not open. It stayed closed, so that's okay. We have no gross shorts or no gross opens in this capacitor. Okay, that's awesome. So let's short these terminals out and perform our final test. And like I said, I'll probably dig in the back of this thing and fix this and I'll show that on video so you can kind of see the innards of this thing. It's not really all that clean or anything. I probably need to go through and probably change some caps and stuff in it, but it'll do for now. Let's see what we got here. Short this thing out. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Probably need to get another piece of wire here. Let's see what I got. All right, I just cut the end of that. That was a piece of scrap test lead that I had, jumper lead that I had laying around here anyway. So, okay. So there we go. We got it shorted out. So we need to be on the short test. We'll flip it over to check. We'll wait for the tube to warm up. All right, looks like it's warming up nicely. And since we are shorted, we should be looking for the eye to remain open, so it should not close. So let's check the functionality of that. It did remain open. Looky there. All right, so this is a fully functional capacitor tester. Like I said, it's not the most high-speed capacitor checker, but it doesn't give you the capacitance of the capacitor. You're really just testing for gross faults of a capacitor at frequency. So interesting. I will be let's take this off and see what's lurking behind here. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it from or I'll just take this off the Variac. Okay. And it's 2 screws back here. Okay, so this is what lies in the case. Yeah, I'm probably gonna recap this. It looks like there's 2, 3, maybe 4 caps in here. We got a ceramic cap there. Looks like a mica domino cap here. A couple of Sangamo wax caps. So down there too as well. Got another one. 600 volts type. So this coil right here is part of the oscillator. And I'd have to look at the schematic, but it looks like the capacitor strapped across there. I think there's 2 capacitors in the oscillator circuit. So this is a very simple circuit. You just got an oscillator basically that's generating a frequency, and you're actually putting that frequency through the capacitor, and based off of its feedback through the circuit, whether it's shorted or open, it's going to change the way this operates. So I mean, there's a little more to it than that, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. You're just basically looking at the way whatever you put into the circuit reacts with it. So the manual actually explains exactly how all that happens, and it's really interesting. But the simplicity of this is just overwhelming. I mean, you basically got an inductor, a few capacitors. I think this is the other capacitor that's in that oscillator circuit. This one and this one strapped to the inductor here. And then, you know, power supply stuff. This stuff over here on this side is power supply filter. Well, no, it's not. This is all AC in here. It looks like oh no, we got a transformer. Sorry, I'm sorry. We do have a transformer. So it is. Looks like it is transforming, but I don't see any rectification. So I do not see a rectifier at all. Again, I got the schematic for this. I briefly looked at it. I kind of probably need to go back and explore that a little bit better. But no, there's no rectification. So this whole thing is just AC being fed into an oscillator circuit, basically, and to the filaments of this tube for the heaters. And that's basically it. I mean, there's not much to this thing, and you can see it works. So, you know, I don't even know if recapping this thing is even at this point, for what this is and for what it does. I don't know that it's even worth recapping, really. I mean, it's working. It serves the function that it was made and designed to do, and it works. So I have no complaints. So I may just leave it like that, but I am going to take these off and move these around to where I can access those holes a little bit better. And so I'll just do that right now. So they didn't make this too user-friendly here. I just need to turn this red one. The black one was fine. I could get the lead in there, but this red one was okay. So there we go. And we can just look on here and see how we need to turn it here. So there we go. So there you go. Now you see the holes lined up straight up and down. So that will work. We'll just tighten this back up. And it's going to turn. So I need something to...
Here's a matching video.
So I'll just stick this probe in here to keep this from turning, so I can hold it. Okay, so that's that, and now it becomes a lot more useful. Now, obviously, I could just stick some banana clips, banana plugs in here with some clips and clip onto capacitors or whatever, and make it work that way. But this makes it so much more convenient just to be able to slip your capacitor in there and test it like that. So, yeah, so that's the Heathkit model CT-1. Again, if you run across one of these, there's something nostalgic to put on your workbench, and maybe you don't trust your other little handheld capacitor tester or whatever, and you're not sure what's going on with it. Maybe hook it up to this and see what happens. Maybe you get some kind of intermittent look on this thing that may tell you there's a problem, or a straight up short or open. So hey, I like it. I'm happy. I think I paid, I don't know, $25 for this thing. I mean, I think the Magic Eye tube's worth that. I think this tube's worth every bit of $25, right? So I think I got a good deal on it, and But thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.